Welcome into Bills Tonight Digital. Maddy Glab here with Bills legend Eric Wood. Happy to have you on with us this year, Eric. And the Bills defeat the Jets in Week 1, 27-17. Plenty to unpack here in this win. But first and foremost, I've got to say the Bills did something they haven't done since 2016, and that is throwing for more than 300 passing yards. Yes, Josh Allen finally did it. Eric, what were some of your first takeaways from that win?
Yeah, you mentioned Josh Allen going over 300 yards, and I was still on the Bills at that time. That's how long ago that was. But I thought Josh Allen had an excellent game, and a lot of the things that Bills fans wanted to see Josh Allen do in year 3 running this offense, he did today. Obvious concern. Some of the fumbles down in the red zone, the missed throw to John Brown, the wide open touchdown. There's still going to be stuff to pick at from Josh Allen, but I love the way he played today.
Yeah, still a lot to improve on. This offense is not yet complete for the season, but it was fun to see how new they looked, everything that Brian Daboll, their offensive coordinator, threw at them. Josh Allen finished completing 71.7% of his passes, so that is a great thing to look forward to start the 2020 season. And let's go over to our quarterback and hear what Josh Allen had to say after today's game.
You hear me here?
I got you good.
All right, good. The numbers say it was a career day. For you, did it feel like a career day, your performance here in the opener?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm happy that we won a game. I'm also happy the way we won it. You know, we had to we had to overcome some adversity. Those 2 fumbles early on I can't do. You know, I can't put ourselves in a position where we have points and take those points away from us. You know, a couple misses here or there. But overall, our guys did what they were asked to do. They caught the ball. They made some plays. John Brown was great today. Steph was great today. A lot of key third downs that we got. Protection held up, you know, outstanding. And then our defense came out and they played their tails off. So the way we won it, yes, I'm happy. But at the same time, we got a lot to work on, a lot to grow from. You know, I expected, you know, things to kind of hit the fan at some point during the game in Week 1 with no preseason. And luckily, you know, it didn't hurt us too bad. But we got to be better. You know, we left a lot out there, and we know that.
And when it comes to those moments with some of those fumbles, we've seen them in the past. We've talked to you about them in the past. What is it? Is it something we know you're so conscious about, but they still seem to creep up?
Yeah, the first one, I mean, I just got to do a better job. I felt like there was nobody back there, and you know, the guy made a good play, and I just got to hold on to it. The second one, you know, got a little flipped upside down, and you know, braced for impact instead of holding on to the ball. And it's one of those situations you hate to be in. You're kind of flipped upside down and not really knowing what to do. But at the end of the day, the football is the most important thing. And I gotta remember that during those situations. And, you know, it's something that, you know, we haven't been hit live, you know, for 7 months now, you know, so it's going to take some getting used to. But at the same time, it's something that we're going to have to work on, you know, every week.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
Hey, Josh, Chris Brown here. The way you came out today with 10 and 11 personnel heavy, all through the first half, pretty much, with a few exceptions when you got down by the goal line. How productive did you feel that was for you through the course of the first half, in light of how successfully you guys really moved the ball and stayed on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think our first 5 drives, we didn't punt. We had opportunities to score, and you know, those two turnovers by me, I can't have those. But we were moving the ball how we wanted to. Our guys were getting open. We understood, you know, we understand the guys that we have are tough for defenses to cover, you know, for a long period of time. And when I'm able to escape the pocket, and our guys did a great job today of scramble rules and getting open and making some plays in the end zone. You saw Zach Moss, a rookie, find the lane, and I was fortunate to put it on him. He made the catch, and it's what you love to see, you know, those live reps that you don't really get in practice. But, you know, when you're in the game, you have good communication like we have, like we've had. That's the results you're going to see.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, Josh. Congrats on the win and for throwing 300 yards for the first time in your career. We saw the balance between, you know, you seem to be focusing on John Brown in the first half and then Stephon Diggs kind of coming on through the second half. What is it about those 2 guys that helps you as a quarterback?
Well, one, they're extremely smart football players. They know how to get open. They're just fun to play with. They communicate, they talk. the things that they can do. Not a lot of guys in this league can do what they can do. They're constantly getting open. They're making plays. You saw some run after the catch today. I threw Steph one ball at 2 yards. He made 2 guys miss and ended up getting 8 or 9. And that's what you love to see, with your 1 and 2 receivers. And, I really wouldn't say we got a 1 and a 2. I think we got 2 1s. John Brown consistently played well last year, and I don't expect anything less this year. You saw what he did today. And then, third down and opportunities for Cole, making guys miss when he's got a good matchup. So it's something that we're still going to work on. And I expect things to continue to get better between us, the communication, the familiarity. And I'm super excited for what we got.
And then from our vantage point, it seemed like if this was a normal situation, this stadium would have been rocking, especially in the first half. What was it like for you to have a big play and silence?
It was weird for sure. We definitely miss Bills Mafia. We wish they could be in the stands for us, and hopefully sometime in the near future, our wish can come true there. But their presence was deeply missed, and there's nothing like playing in front of Bills Mafia. The energy, the excitement, how crazy it gets. But we're making do with what we got, and at least we're playing some football now.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it.
Hey, Josh, it's Marcel. Can you hear me, man?
Yep, I got you, Marcel. Good to see you.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. Week 1 for all of us, man. I'm trying to make sure I'm coming across here. But, going off a previous question, you guys played a lot of empty, a lot of 4 receiver personnel, a lot of shotgun. This is like the most weapons you've probably had at any stage of your career. Did the game feel more comfortable to you? Did it feel more fun being out there with basically so many options at your disposal?
100%. And, we started off with a lot of really good play calls to kind of get me in a rhythm. I think I did a good job today of letting the game come to me and not trying to force things early on. And I know people want to see the deep to Steph and deep to John. And, I want to throw those, but got to be smart and check down when necessary. And I think that's what we did a good job of today. Our guys underneath were patient. And when they caught the ball, they made some guys miss and got some yards after the catch. So, again, I expect us to continue to get better. There's a lot of things that we left out there, missing John in the end zone, the 2 fumbles, obviously, and, a couple of times we put the ball in harm's way too often. So we'll clean that up, and looking forward to, a tough one down in Miami next week.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh, John Worrell, AP.
Good to see you, War.
You got me? How you doing?
Yeah,
How you doing?
I got you.
Good.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Congrats on the win and the 300 yards. Now, how important was it to have, kind of following off Marcel's question, how important was it to have, the weapons that you had available to take advantage of in the passing game, knowing how tough Greg Williams' defense is in running? How much did you need to take advantage of that? And when you did, how much did that help boost this offense's confidence?
I think if you look back to last year, they were one of the tops in the leagues in stopping the run. So we understood that was an uphill battle there. So we wanted to start off and get the ball into our playmakers' hands outside and let them do their thing. And I think we did a good job, moving the ball late with the running game. And we still got to find more ways to get in the end zone. We left too many points out there. But again, I take that, that responsibility upon myself. And we'll learn from it, and we'll watch the film, and we'll be over it tomorrow. And then, like I said, we're working for next Sunday now.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, good to see you. Kind of, it seems to be the topic of all of the conversations here, this 300-yard game. Does that mean anything to you? Like, did you go into this season thinking, like, I need to surpass that milestone, or is that just one of those stats that people seem to talk about that really doesn't matter?
It's one of those stats that it doesn't matter. The only thing I care about is the only stat I care about is the points on the scoreboard. As long as we got more than the other team, that's all I'm really focused about. But, I am happy I helped put our team in a position to win a football game today. And, we're going to need more of that. We're going to need some better decision-making out of me, some better throwing, and obviously got to take care of the football, and that's the key to this game. Who can, one, score the most and turn the ball over the less. So, or turn the ball over the least. But again, we'll learn from it. And again, this week's going to be probably pretty heavy on ball security. And, it's no fault to my own, but something I'll work on.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Josh. So it looked to me like you were, I know you can't ignore the stuff that wasn't great for you, and you've already talked about that. But overall, comfort level, all those different looks and formations, and the way you were managing it, you just seemed more in control to the naked eye. How did it feel for you out there?
I think it felt how you saw. I think Dave's put in a great game plan. Our staff did a great job of coaching up our guys, and we did a good job of executing. And again, we cleaned up a few things here or there. We put some more points on the board, and that's the name of the game is for the offense is scoring as much as we can. And we didn't do a good enough job of that today. But again, you got to look at the positives. I think we did more good than bad. We moved the ball how we wanted to move it. Our guys got open. The protection was fantastic. Time of possession was 40 minutes to 20 minutes. I think, there's pretty balanced, 300 passing, 100 rushing. But again, I got to do a better job of taking care of the football and allowing ourselves to put some more points on, especially when we're down close in field goal range, and our guys are doing a good job of getting open. So that's something we'll look at and we'll clean up this week and try to improve on that next week.
And it looked like a defining play of what your day was about today was that screen touchdown pass to John Brown. The way you read it, you saw, if you could just walk through that and that sidearm delivery on point, on timing, I just felt like that one was spoke volumes about the kind of day you had.
Yeah, so it was a look that we maybe weren't expecting to get there, but as a quarterback, we got to get quarterbacks got to get the offense out of a bad situation. I made a call. I made a not a great throw. John went down and picked it up off the floor, and our guys got out there and made some key blocks. Steph had a key block on that to spring John free, and John went over to Steph right after and said thank you, gave him a big old high five and a big old hug. Because without that play, without that block, John doesn't score. So again, it's just a bunch of guys going out there and executing, doing their job, and that's really all we're trying to focus on.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep, thank you, guys.
That's actually all we have, Josh. So you are all set.
And that is all for Josh Allen. And I've got to just point out the 2020 things we have going on right here. So I'm in studio. Eric is in Kentucky. We wish he was here with us today, but, it's a little lonely here. He's going to join us virtually every week after the games. And what you just saw was regular interviews over Zoom. That's how it's going to go for the entire season. I know we all miss that face-to-face contact, but something that we have all gotten used to. And you heard Josh Allen say, Eric, that 300 passing yards, it doesn't mean a lot. All I care about is the points on the scoreboard, and you love to hear that from a quarterback. But in his third season, in this debut game for him in his third year as an NFL quarterback, how did you see Josh Allen prove his growth today? Because he definitely looked pretty comfortable out there with everything Daboll was throwing at him. It wasn't like this offense today was vanilla at all. It was 31 flavors, right?
It was, and they started off the game in 10 personnel, trying to take advantage of some weaknesses of the Jets. Josh Allen personally, in that press conference, he mentioned how good the Jets' rush defense was a year ago. Well, they returned everybody along that defensive line. So that defensive line was tough last year. So what do? You start the game in 10 personnel in no huddle offense, trying to wear out that defensive line, and then later in the game, at the beginning of the season last year in the opener against the Jets, got him in hurry up early. And yes, it was tough to run the ball, but then later in the game, the Bills started to run the ball better last year, and it happened again today. The only thing I'm a little irked about, and Josh Allen might not care about stats, but as a former offensive lineman, I always loved rushing for over 100 yards, and they hit exactly 100 yards before the kneel down, which got them to 98 rushing yards. But that was a productive day, even on the ground where it was tough sledding at times, and a lot of that came from Josh Allen, don't get me wrong, and that's something we could talk about as the show goes on. Maybe the Bills want to get away from that a little bit as the season goes on, but a good day on the ground against a tough Bills defensive line.
Yeah,
Jets defensive line.
306 yards in the air for Josh Allen, 98 yards on the ground from the Bills rushing offense. A lot of that did come from Josh Allen, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary involved a little bit, also involved in the passing game as well. Well, let's look back to this 27-17 win with a little bit of highlights. The defensive holding penalty sets up a 1st and goal. Allen on the bootleg for a touchdown. It puts the Bills up 7-0 early in the game. And 2nd and goal here, Allen would drop back. He has all day to find the rookie running back, Zach Moss, for a touchdown. Welcome to the NFL, young boy. Happy to have you here on the team. And Josh Allen would hit John Brown here, familiar face on the offense on the screen. He takes it 17 yards for the touchdown. Here you're seeing a Jets field goal to put them on the board. And then the Jets would take over on offense after Tyler Bass missed his first field goal attempt. Third down, Darnold finds Jamison Crowder, who takes it 69 yards to score. It's 21-10 Bills at this point. They would still hold the lead. And then you'd see a pair of Tyler Bass field goals, one from 22 and one from 19. The rookie kicker was 2 of 4 for the day. That would be your highlights of the game, and it was a 27-17 final score. So as we look at those highlights, Eric, what are some things that stand out just about the way that the Bills were able to find the end zone there?
Yeah, the great thing is a lot of it involved Josh Allen. He scores the first one with his legs. He finds the rookie Zach Moss on the second one. An unbelievable check. He mentioned it, so I don't have to play pretend here and play armchair quarterback. He mentioned he checked to that play. That wasn't a check with me play. There wasn't multiple plays called there. He simply got the Bills out of what they were doing. Now they're going to have to change the call because in an empty stadium, it was all over the TV. And I tweeted about it. Rip Solo will become something else next week. And you know what I would do if I was Josh Allen? I'd call Rip Solo, which was a wide receiver screen, and I'd run down the sideline with John Brown or Stephon Diggs, do something similar to that. And that's what you're going to see as a chess match as the season goes on. But I thought Josh Allen's pocket presence was absolutely phenomenal. There were many times, Greg Williams has a tough defense to prepare for. Guys can come from either side of the field at all times. And sometimes if you're not checking protections, you can simply guess wrong with your protection. You're sliding the wrong direction. There was multiple free hitters today where Josh simply avoided the rush, and the wide receivers did a great job of continuing to work down the field. John Brown did it incredibly last year, and he did it incredibly today. He has an uncanny ability of working a deep route down the field that almost turns into a comeback along the sideline where he protects Josh Allen, where he can use the sideline to his advantage. He rolls out with him, so Josh is never throwing back across the field, which is a huge no-no for quarterbacks. And I thought that Josh's pocket presence and making guys miss, especially early in the game, was just devastating for Jets defenders. Then he uses the hard count multiple times, gets them to jump off sides, and then they use the screen game. So as a Jets defensive lineman, what are you supposed to do? You can't bring him down if you do get to him. And then when you're rushing the passer, if you think you're going to jump the snap, he gets him off sides twice. Once was a free play that they almost connected down the sideline on a throw to John Brown, and then they used the screen game to really punish the pass rush.
Yeah, it was definitely tough for the Jets defense all day, all game. I mean, yes, they returned their defensive line, and that's where their strength lies because they had the second best run defense in the league last year, 7th overall defensively. But this secondary for the Jets, there were a lot of question marks going into this game. No Jamal Adams. You had 2 corners, one of them who's new to the team in Pierre Desir, and then Bless Austin, who didn't play too many games last year for the Jets. So the Bills definitely took advantage of that. Let's hear from the head coach, Sean McDermott, on how he thought the first game went.
Sean, thanks, and congrats for winning the opener. If you can give me some of your impressions of what you saw from Josh Allen. I know it wasn't the turnovers are going to always bug you and him and everybody, but it just seemed like it was the kind of day where there was a lot of stuff to like about the way he managed it and threw it. Your overall view of Josh's performance.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Vic, the ball is that's why it's the equalizer that it is, right? We left some things out there. Overall, I thought Josh, as you saw, did a really good job of giving the receivers a chance. They made plays. Our receivers and tight ends and backs made plays when the ball was in the air, and I thought our line did a great job of giving Josh time to work back there and the receivers to work their routes. So good first game, a lot to work on overall.
Yeah, on the work on part and the negative part, how do you address that, and what was some of your conversations with him either during or after the game in that regard?
Well, it's to be expected, to some extent with the first game every year, but that's where the growth mindset comes in. We've got to go back and find out why things happened when they didn't work out to the way we wanted them to work out. And that's where practice comes in, right? And that's where the work goes in. You got to go back to the drawing board forward and continue to work on our fundamentals, our execution, and for sure understand why we got the results we got as it relates to the process, and then why wasn't it better? So that'll be the question we're asking ourselves. It's already begun on my desk over here, and as you know me, but overall, just a great win. These are hard to come by, and so it's a great team win and a good start.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure, Vic.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. I found it interesting, your defensive line rotation today. I know you rotate heavily, but it looked like you were doing wholesale rotations, and maybe that was a byproduct of, the fact that you sent them 3 and out the first 3 times. But how did you feel that kind of a rotation worked today for your guys? I know they weren't on the field a terrible amount of time, but how did you feel that rotation worked for your group?
Yeah, I thought, that just philosophically, that's a little bit of what we believe in there, Chris. And it's probably a combination of that, honestly, and also just, some of the 3 and outs combined with the offense staying on the field, our offense staying on the field with multiple play drives. And then there no huddle at times, too. So it was probably a combination of all of that, really.
Knowing how difficult it has been to run against the Jets, how important was it to see Josh come out firing and really spreading the ball among the receivers in picking those guys off? And what did you see on that touchdown? What did you like about what you saw in his touchdown to John Brown?
Yeah, there's a lot to like. We've worked things in practice that I saw carry over to the game. I would say that's probably the biggest thing that makes me smile as a coach. I'm sure it makes our offensive coaches smile. So when the players take ownership of things like they did in that regard, and we were able to convert when we needed to there.
Like what about Josh's recognition abilities in seeing how far that defensive back was playing off John? And I'm not sure if that was the call out of the huddle, but he sure seemed to recognize what was going on there.
Yeah, recognizing things is important. Their defense does a great job, as you mentioned, in a lot of ways, and so we knew we were going to be challenged. But I guess just overall, the film study during the week, the execution on game day, that's where the process comes into play.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, John Scott, congratulations on the win. Curious from your perspective, what it was like without the fans here this afternoon.
Yeah, it was honestly what we expected. I would say because we've been here, we've practiced over here. As you know, you've been over here watching us practice, and I thought our sideline had great energy today from the players, the coaches, the staff. I thought it was very unique, and to me, a good sign of who we are and the way the guys pull for one another, love one another. Listen, I'd be lying if I said it was normal, but I think we've got a resilient group, and I'm proud of them the way that they've adjusted to this point all the way from the start of training camp till now.
And can you take us inside the decision-making process to stay inside for the national anthem?
Yeah, I'm going to keep that between us. I'm glad and I'm proud of 2 things. Number one, that we're doing what we've decided as a team, and we're sticking together on that. And then number 2 is the action that has taken place. And so really proud of what our guys have set out to do in the community to make positive change, hopefully in our community, with giving the kids or trying to provide the kids, the children that need it, the internet, and with the census as well as the voter registration. So it's one thing to do something. It's another thing to take action. And that's the thing I'm most proud of.
Appreciate it, Sean. Thanks.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, it's Sal.
Oh. Hi, Sal.
You can hear me? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I have no idea where I am on these Zooms. I'm not sure if you've been asked this. Tyler Bass, kind of a bummer that he missed those 2 field goals. Just take us through the thought of watching a rookie kicker struggle like that in his first game.
No, this is there's always a first time for all of us, right? And we remain confident in Tyler. There's going to be some of those moments. There's adverse moments. There were today for our team, right? We're up and we faced a little bit of a momentum shift there, and so we had to push through that. And Tyler, I thought, did a good job of pushing through it. Got the field goal at the end to to seal the game basically, and so I was proud of him for that. He was resilient in his approach, and so he, like all of us, we've got to go back and continue to work on our game this week. There's a lot to work on, but we remain very confident in Tyler, and so he's a young kicker. That's going to happen from time to time, and so we stick by him. I was proud of the way the guys stood by him and supported him, from the offensive players to the defensive players, and not just the special teams players in this case. So I'm very proud of the guys for that.
And if I could ask you about your offense, I mean, you've seen a lot of offenses through the years, but it looks like this particular offense with so many weapons. Have you had a team quite like this in terms of the guys you could roll out in a 5-wide set like that?
Well, they're all different. Different offenses attack differently, and so we decided this week to do that, Sal, and it paid off. I thought it was a good game plan by the coaches, coordinators, Coach Dable, Coach Frazier, and Coach Farwell, and the players executed. That's what it really comes down to: the players taking ownership, putting in the work during the week, and then executing at a high level. And so there's certainly plays we want back, and we'll learn from those hopefully this week.
Thanks.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, obviously the game just ended, less than an hour ago, but do you have an early read on the injuries to Matt and Tremaine and I think Tyrell as well?
Yeah, I don't. I don't, Marcel. It's too early to tell. I haven't even honestly caught up with our trainer yet, so I'll try and give you some more information if I can tomorrow.
All right, and I guess if especially Milano and Edmonds are forced to miss, an extended amount of time, how impactful is that to the middle of, not just even the middle of your defense, but your defense as a whole and the psyche of your locker room?
Well, those guys are good football players, and they're good football players for us. They've done a nice job, and thought they were doing some good things today. And I was very proud of the way that the younger guys stepped in and did a good job, from Tyrell Dodson to AJ Klein to Tyler Matakevich. And so, that's the next man up, and that's the resiliency of the linebacking crew and the resilience of our defense and of our team. And so there's going to be adversity like there was today, whether it was injuries or a change in momentum. And I think we've learned that you've got to continue to push through, and I thought our team did that today. So we'll see what happens this week. We hope and pray we get them back. If we don't, then it'll be next man up.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Coach, good afternoon. Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports Cincinnati. Congratulations on the victory today.
Thanks, Mookie. Appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, it's always good to know that we could win the ugly ones, so, it's always room for improvement there. And you was talking about how resilient, your team was, during adversity. I know you had to be at one point out there just like real frantic, like, oh my God, like, what's going on? But just care to talk about the highs and the lows, during that third quarter period, man, when a lot of things were going on for the team adversity-wise.
Yeah, we left plays out there offensively, defensively, and special teams wise, and those are things we can learn from. It's not always going to be exactly how you draw it up, right? And the thing that I'm encouraged by is that we took adversity, and our players and our coaches pushed through it together as a team, and those are defining moments of a team. And as how young this season is, we got to use that to help us as we move forward. There'll be continued adversity next week, going against a good Miami team at their place. And so we've got to make sure we have a good week of practice, and there's plenty to improve on.
Absolutely. And one thing I wanted to chime in, Andre Robertson, that special teams unit, man, how happy were you to see how well your special teams played out there today, Coach?
Yeah, that was a big piece of the field position. Field position was significantly in our favor. I thought our offense did a good job helping in that regard, and then our defense with a takeaway or so, and then also with to your point, with the special teams play. That's the all three phases playing complementary football and setting each other up, which was strong today.
Absolutely. Hey, 1-0 right now, and focus is 2-0 next week. Good luck, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, Mookie. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So we heard Coach McDermott say no update yet on Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano. Both of those linebackers went out from the game during the game. Of course, something we don't want to see or hear. Hopefully they're okay for next week. Matt Milano had an interception. Tyrell Dodson, one of those linebackers who came in, also had his first sack as a Buffalo Bill. And we heard Sean McDermott talk about the execution of this offense and how happy he was for them to pull it together. You have 8 different players who caught passes from Josh Allen today. 3 receivers averaged more than 10 yards a catch in Stephon Diggs, John Brown, and Cole Beasley. Out of those 3, I've got to say John Brown stood out the most. He started early and went throughout the whole game catching passes from Josh Allen. How good was it, Eric, to see someone like him still be as productive as he was last year, even with Stephon Diggs thrown into the mix, who's going to be a huge part of this offense this season as well?
Yeah, it was great to see him pick right where he left off with John Brown. And what Stephon Diggs is going to do all year is draw the other team's #1 cornerback away from John Brown, who saw the other team's #1 quarterback all year. So that's just going to open up things further for John Brown. If the coverage starts shading towards John, Stephon will get more balls. Josh is doing a great job of taking some easy throws to the outside. One extremely easy throw to John Brown on the outside, which I love, which gained about 12 yards. I believe it was in the second quarter. And those easy throws to the outside come because those guys have so much speed on the outside. But I loved how efficient Josh Allen was throwing to both of those guys, especially Stephon Diggs. This is his first game playing with him. And yes, you got a lot of practice reps. They got together in the offseason and threw together, but those are not true game reps. And for him to connect so well with Stephon Diggs in their first action is incredible.
That's so true. Stephon Diggs had 9 targets by Josh Allen. He caught 8 of those 9 targets. So great to see out of a first-year player on the Bills, especially during a shortened offseason. Well, let's hear from wide receiver John Brown on his 70 receiving yard day.
Okay, John. First of all, could you kind of describe how you saw your touchdown? Was it an audible by Josh on the receiver screen there?
Yes, it was a audible by Josh, and it was a great call by him and the offensive lineman, and the receivers did a great job blocking, and it was just a walk in the end zone.
And then you just showed them a lot of 4-wide looks today. How do you feel? It seemed like that allowed you to get good matchups. What do you think about the challenge of covering the 4 receivers you threw out there today?
It was a start, to see what we really had, in my opinion, and see what we can do. And I think it was a great game plan by Dayball.
Thank you.
Hey, John, Matt Perino here. Just give us your thoughts on how you thought Josh played today. It seemed like he made a lot of plays. The one missed ball to you in the end zone. But what was your overall takeaway from his game today?
I feel Josh, he played good. He could have played better. We all could have played better. And that's part of football. Mistakes happen, and I'm sure he'll correct everything he did. So no matter how he played, I'll be in his corner.
Mm-hmm. What was it like to finally get out there and start making plays against another defense? Obviously, both you and Stephon Diggs made a lot of plays today, got a lot of targets, got a lot of catches. Is this kind of what you envisioned and what's been happening in practice?
Yes, that's definitely what I envisioned. And it's definitely a stress reliever, not going against our defense anymore. So it was definitely fun to be out there.
Thanks, John.
No problem.
John Brown said we all could have played better today. And when you look at Josh's stat line, 33 of 46 for 312 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 104.6 rating, and then he had another 57 yards on the ground. If we were talking about this last year, we might be like, oh my gosh, Josh Allen just had the best day. But there were those 2 fumbles, there were some missed balls, so there's always opportunities to grow, especially in week 1. Thinking about how short this offseason is, you definitely have to be proud of the product that they put on the field today, from an offensive perspective to a defense perspective. But Eric, when you look at this game as a whole, where do you think this team can improve before they face the Miami Dolphins in week 2?
I think an easy answer would be saying ball security, especially from the quarterback position with those 2 fumbles and a couple throws that were a little dicey. Could have been picked, one down in the red zone that was tipped away. But I think Josh Allen said it perfectly. He hasn't been hit at all since early January in that playoff game. There are going to be some early mistakes when there isn't any preseason action. So yes, ball security on run, especially from the quarterback position. Obviously, the 2 missed field goals are a cause for concern. Neither of those were tough field goals. Neither were super long. Yes, it was windy in Orchard Park today, but it's going to be windy almost every Sunday in Orchard Park. That wind swirls in there, and it always has, and it makes it tough for kickers in there. Just ask Ryan Lindell, who kicked there for so many years, and maybe he can offer Tyler Bass any advice he would have. But Tyler Bass, I say that half jokingly, he did incredible. His extra points were actually as hard as the field goals, and he made those first 2 ones of the day, even before a miss. So I do have confidence in him. He looked great kicking the ball off. But, if you're nitpicking a 10-point win, you got to say that's a cause for concern. And then defensively, I thought they played phenomenal. I know they hated giving up that last score at the end because 10 points in the league given up through week 1 probably puts you right around the top. 17 probably puts you at middle of the pack. And I know that this team only cares about wins and losses, but stats matter, and they matter to the players, especially come Monday or Tuesday when you look back at them, or even Sunday night. But I thought the Bills' defense played great. A cause for concern that could be an issue for week 2 is if these linebackers can't play. And as soon as A.J. Klein came in the game, you saw Sam Darnold attack him through the air with Le'Veon Bell, which drew the holding call, which actually was the play that Le'Veon Bell dinged his hamstring. But that would be a cause of concern for week 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's nice to know that the wheels did not fall off there when you lost 2 of your best linebackers in Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano. Yes, you hate to give up that last touchdown. 17 points. They allowed 16.4 points per game last season, second best scoring defense in the league. Let's see if they can do that next week against the Miami Dolphins. Eric, thanks for joining us in this week 1 wrap-up. Bills Tonight Digital. Make sure you catch us later tonight at 11:30 on MSG. It'll be Eric Wood and I again for a fuller version of this show. More highlights, more analysis, breaking down all the plays you want to talk about from that week 1 win against the Jets. For Eric Wood, I'm Maddy Glab. We will see you later.